Hello, everyone. Welcome on back to the Smite Draft League. We are here with the godlike division in this Smite drafting league, and we are looking at the scouting grounds. Everyone trying to prove themselves before we enter into this draft that is coming up in the coming week. Please look to the Discord for your announcements on that. I am D'Lo, joined here by Anthony. Anthony Malum, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. I love watching the godlike division. I love seeing the skill that they bring, and I think my favorite thing is actually the picks that they bring out, which is what I'm looking for the most as we start picks and bans, is seeing what is the unique take that they decide to go this time. We've seen everything from Sylvanas ADC to some crazy supports here and there, so I'm really excited to see what the uniqueness is this time.
Absolutely. And we are here with the Untouchables versus RoboCop. An interesting little matchup there. We're going to see if the Untouchables quite live up to their name. As we see, a lot of bands coming in. Nothing here too special. Of course, the ADC is a very staple when it comes to that. Habwa as well. All around, we see banned out once again. And Mercury's been putting in quite a bit of work, too, on the side of the physical damage. So it makes sense that we're seeing all of this.
It does. The thing about the godlike division is they have the unique ability where a lot of times players at that high of a skill level can handle things that are a bit more on the broken side. I'm referring to a Mercury, a Freya, an Oleron. So while they're banned, a lot of those picks don't scare them as much. And something like a Fenrir, which from time to time you'll see absolutely go crazy, while it's always strong given the nature of the character, when you start getting to these highest skill caps, they at least understand how to play around it. So you start to see a bit more variety in picks, even if you see the bands go more traditional.
Absolutely. And that's what I personally, as a caster, love to see that out of pocket kind of stuff coming up to the forefront. I love seeing non traditional stuff. But we're starting off with something very classic, kicking it old school with the Thor being looked at here on the side of order, who I believe, if I'm not incorrect, will be the Robocops, I believe. So, potential look into the Thor. What are our thoughts on this potential pick?
I think from everything I've seen, every time I've ever watched Premiere last season, Godlike so far, Scouting Grounds, I'm going to say this is going solo. It just makes sense. A lot of times, these higher skill players are valuing the ability of Thor to rotate because this map is so gigantic. It's so difficult to get from point A to point B. If you can utilize both the hammer and your Anvil of Dawn, you can get into team fights a lot faster without having to burn teleport in that scenario. And you can really make a game changing impact, not to mention how scary you can be from mid lane if you start to get some pressure.
Some brilliant a testament to the power that Thor can put both on utility and, of course, on the damage side. Early game damage can go crazy, and if you play that Thor well, you can just carry that on into the late game too. Just absolutely blow up someone's spot by just diving into that backline with the Anvil of Dawn. We see some quick locks here, though, from the other side. The Untouchables looking at the Hercules, trying to potentially counter if we do indeed see that Thor in the solo lane. I'd imagine we're going to see Hercules facing off against him. And meanwhile, the Soul, though, locked in on them as well. One of those hyper carries on the mage side, just not quite able to catch it, and it's going to be doing some big work, as we can imagine, on the side of the Untouchables.
Yeah, it looks like the priority really this time was getting that Mercury off the board. They probably were expecting the Soul to get picked. I mean, you're in a game like this, Soul's not going to make it through into the second wave of anything. The Ishtar is the exact response I wanted. I think Ishtar is starting to become a little undervalued, oddly enough. While we're still seeing it get a lot of play, we're seeing people kind of panic if they don't get a mage ADC. They start to pull out something like an assassin ADC, try to overwhelm a mage ADC with damage. But I think Ishtar really can handle Soul in the right environment. It's going to mostly depend on if Ishtar is allowed to freely farm or if there's a lot of pressure on duo.
Absolutely, and we see the mages both locked in mutually here on either side. Tiamat Discordia. Tiamat, not one that I've seen too often, but one is a welcome sight to me. I've always enjoyed Tiamat's kit. Discordia, of course, going to look to be making as much havoc as possible on their side. We've got quite a bit of magical damage here on the side of the Untouchables, and we're locking out some magical supports here on their side. Khepri going to be looked at as their next ban.
Yeah, Tiamat's a really fascinating character in this meta. I think Tiamat kind of thrives with the current builds, getting to get that true damage if you go with Tablet of Destinies. And almost more than anything else, though, I think Tiamat thrives right now because you're so safe in mid lane. This is such a scary meta across the board, and having survivability and kind of innate tankiness is beyond valuable right now. And Discordia, while being nasty right now, is kind of lacking in that same thing. So Tiamat's going to be such a safe pick.
Absolutely. And as we see that, speaking of the tankiness that we're talking about here, is a lot of tanks being banned out on the side of the Untouchables. Who are we thinking we'd like to see being picked up on each side for that support?
It's kind of a mix. I mean, like I said, the tough part about the godlike division so far and always is you don't know what pick is going where. I mean, we see that right now. We have an on her locked in
Whoa.
soul. So what I'm gonna go with here is the LCs have talked a lot about unique picks, and one in particular that has been seen a lot in SOC, even as far up as SCC somehow, is on her support. You try to go with that passive, combine in things like Stone of Binding, you go Executioner, you can take the upgrade that limits your attack speed, and you're just shredding protections. I'm not a big fan of it. Can it work? Yes. Does it kind of put you at a inherent disadvantage? Absolutely.
And yeah, that would be definitely interesting. Yeah, with the two traditional hyper carries we're seeing there, gonna be interesting to see what flexibility they make out of that. But I am liking what I'm seeing right now. The response you might imagine directly to the on her via Wheelix going to really remove, if it is indeed a support on her, that are going to be looking to leap in, disrupt, cause a lot of havoc. A Wheelix is going to remove that primary initiating option. What are our thoughts on that pick from the RoboCops?
I really like that pick. I think it controls the last pick as well. Now you're kind of forcing Untouchables into a particular route for the last selection, which could throw off the team comp they're trying to go for here. And you actually taught me earlier that Discordia can be pulled out by a Wheelix as well if you're fast enough. And if anyone's going to be fast enough, it's going to be these guys. And Godlike, if that's a Shiva lock-in, this team comp is exactly the disaster that I was waiting for from Godlike. LightTunnel is signed up as a jungle as one of their roles, so we might be seeing Shiva jungle on her support. Maybe this is going to be a fascinating team comp, much more traditional on the other side for sure. But I'm ecstatic to see these team comps.
There's a reason the tried and true classics work. It's because they were tried and true. They've been tested in battle all the time. So we're going to have to see what the battle, what comes out here between the battle between tradition and modernity. That being said, we are here with RoboCop versus the Untouchables. I've been Dilo for this little traipse into the picks and bans, joined by Anthony Malum. We'll see you all on into the game.
Taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the...
Hello everyone, welcome on back to this godlike division game, Smite Draft League. We're in the scouting grounds here. I'm Dilo, joined once again by Anthony Malum, and we're looking to see is this very interesting comps line up against each other. As we're looking to get into this, what are we thinking here is going to be the early game matchups here when it comes to RoboCop versus Untouchables, just based on a preliminary look at their comps?
I'm thinking I tried to warn you that this is going to be something completely out of pocket, and that's exactly what we got. Our mentals are really being challenged here. We've got an on her support, which there is logic there, and it can work. The struggle is going to be early on here. We already see that. Haeylo's looking for a gank.
Yeah, indeed, and that's going to be a bit of trouble. That leap's already been expended with the big damage coming in. The honor right now being blown up, knocked up, brought down. Zoats going to give first blood over to RoboCop. As you said, that Haeylo's beautiful gank going to start off that. A lot of damage, though, coming in on the solo side, too. Not going to quite get that home run.
Yeah, it's close, but that's exactly what you have to do. If you're going to go a really out of nowhere pick, like an on her support, you got to expect to be pressured. I almost would have liked to see, instead of going the Carapace Shard, go a Vision Shard. Be prepared for the early gank, just like CutestEevee.
That's a really fair point. Vision's going to be important if we're going to be going a bit crazy here, and it seems we are. szax going to get killed and be dropped in turn by LightTunnel. Nicely done there. Shiva going to look for a bit more damage there, trying to basic out, but of course the mobility with Suku. Oh, Suku's gone though. Where did she go? Oh no! Brought back down to Fountain. Hokoriiii is unfortunately going to be taken out. LightTunnel grabbing a second kill for themselves with that Shiva. Nicely done.
This might be worst case scenario at the start here if you are RoboCop. Because Shiva, if you take a look, is going Sigil as a starter, which means we're going to see the mitigation build. Mitigation build in the jungle right now, if you can get ahead, this might be the most unkillable Shiva that we've seen this entire scouting grounds.
It's scary stuff. It can be definitely utilized on gods like Shiva as well as Robin. We've seen that where they're just unkillable come late game. You got to make sure to apply that pressure. And as you see, getting 2 kills in the pocket of there, it's going to be rough. And also that level 5 is going to be coming up a lot sooner for them too. There's going to be some more opening up potential of power spikes once that happens. Definitely not exactly what you're looking for, but hey, at the very least, kills are even. You're not having gold, you're not falling into anyone's pockets on the side of RoboCop. That mid lane Tiamat going to hopefully do some more damage.
Yeah, I think Tiamat is going to be something they have to really lean on if they want to survive the onslaught here from Shiva, assuming it continues to get ahead. Big fight and a gank here in duo.
Yeah, looking to chase. We got another one. Again, the gank. The damage is coming out. We're targeting that support. Wisely done there. A lot of damage. Zoats not going to quite fall this time. Bit of time and energy expended. Oh no! He sticks around too long! It must be Call of Duty because we get the rolling thunder kill streak drop down on his head, and he will be dropped as well. RoboCop, once again, bringing it to this duo lane. Nicely done there, taking advantage of this not-traditional pick, saying, hey, if you don't have this well learned, we're going to take advantage of that and drop you over and over again the moment we catch you at a tower.
Yeah, if you cup your ears, you can actually hear the planes flying away after the kill streak is called in. But this is exactly what I was worried about with the on-her support, because the only way it works is if you get ahead. I mean, it's sort of the same story as with the Shiva. If this on-her keeps falling behind, it's going to be really tough for the unique pick to really matter, because how are you going to be able to jump in and get the protection shredding autos if when you jump in, you insta-die?
Absolutely, yeah. They can really be pressing what advantages they can, so maybe farming up, just focusing on that lane clear. You know, you have 2 potential carries, so at least in the early stages of the game, hopefully going to be some decent clear, going to be able to push that advantage, but at the moment, it's been rough. As we see once again here, maybe a bit of pressure being formed on their side, hoping to swing that in their direction. But meanwhile, baseball thrown down, teleport going to get out of there nice and safely. Excellent awareness right there, even though nearly encountering death there on that side. Going to make sure to get out of there is Haeylo.
Yeah, I actually really liked the mechanic movement there with Haeylo. They tried to backstep the ultimate there from Hokoriiii, and while it didn't cause the ultimate to miss, oddly enough, it protected them from follow-up, because as Hokoriiii adjusted to try to get follow-up damage, that's when they teleported away. So in a weird way, a slight misstep ended up proving to be the valuable asset to get them away. So a small, underrated, but really fantastic play from Haeylo.
Absolutely. And just in general, when it comes to this, Thor, as you said, was a very interesting pick for the solo lane. You know, obviously you could see in the jungle, but definitely, as you said and predicted wisely, going to be falling up into that solo versus the Hokoriiii. How are we seeing that matchup stack up as we get into the later lane phase?
It's going to be awkward for Haeylo to play around. I actually kind of like going the Transcendence here. I mean, you're not going to be able to out-tank this Hercules. The best thing you can do is focus on farm, focus on damage, and look to put pressure on mid, because I have a hard time imagining that Thor can kill Hercules, but Hercules might kill Thor here.
He's doing a massive amounts of damage and really keeping him on that tower line, but to Haeylo's credit, managing to do a good job of straddling that tower line wisely, so that way not any risk that they could get dropped without Tyraumatized having to take a little traipse into the tower themselves, which would of course come to quite the detriment to their health. So nicely done there, making sure to not be too prideful. You're on the back end. Like you said, this is a bit of an awkward matchup right now. Could be made a bit more awkward by some invading forces here. LightTunnel looking to try to make something happen, but we have support lurking in the backwaters there. 2 levels up though. This invade might just go in the way of the Untouchables. Got to be careful. They're going to pull him in, wrap him up with flames, and yes, indeed, that steal is going to be successful. That's going to be just unfortunate bullying there. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, no, it was succeeded by him. Yeah, unfortunate invade there. Oh, but a gravity surge there, taking him down. And actually, it might have reversed all his head, but it's brilliant stunned there by the driving strike. Actually going to Anvil of Dawn, not going to quite find its mark. Teleport in, Berserker Barrage, nothing's going to kill LightTunnel.
Yep, it's the Sigil. Sigil, Sigil, Sigil. That's the name of the game right now.
And the Grand Slam not going to be nearly enough damage onto that. And in fact, might be in a bit of trouble himself right now. Teleporting out there, deciding not quite worth the risk there with that health coming back from the Hercules heal. It seems that they're going to decide to just lick their wounds on this one and retreat on back.
Yeah, Shiva completely unfazed there by that fight. Oh, Reblossomed not as unfazed.
And a lot of damage coming in from that ult on the Ishtar, but the Arrows of Judgment not going to quite get them. And meanwhile, it seems like we're just going to be content to farm up a little bit on those minions, do some more damage to the Bastions. And let's see, when it comes to this 1v1, the solo potential on the side of the Soul versus the Ishtar, what are your thoughts on how that's going to stack up?
If you had asked me at the start of the game, I would have had a completely different opinion than I have currently. I mean, we're going to have to wait for Hokoriiii to get a gank here, but I'll explain right after.
Oh, looks like we have Blink in, Feather Step, Suku down, the Phantom's gonna take him. Nicely done there by Hokoriiii. Noticing that, of course, the carry was on their way back, so they had the support there. Excellently done. BornToMeme maybe staying a little bit too long for their own good. Unfortunately, gonna be dropped for that.
So what I wanted to point out is Reblossomed's build is looking to be interesting. We see that they started with a Sigil, kind of similar to Shiva, and they're working on a Berserkers. It's an interesting path, but I think what they're trying to do is essentially just not die as much as possible and look to stay as farmed up as they can. But ooh, big gank here.
Nicely done there with the leap. The belly flop can instantly allow the gravity surge to do some damage, but not quite enough. Riding around in circles is Suku, just trying to drift out of the way, but the Shiva steps are coming in, trying to dance up on all of them, but it's wisely recognizing that Suku's just a bit too fast. But now more people are coming in from both sides. The mid laners have joined this party. A lot of damage there. Jumping out, nicely done there with the Suku leap. Going to maybe have to try to retreat. Oh, but wait a second, not quite done yet. The techness, nicely done there. Digit, going to be able to pull that up with the nicely done ult. Excellent job rotating in. Everyone recognizing that their teammates needed a bit more help and making sure to supply it.
Yeah, that was well played all around. I think the biggest thing that surprised me is that Hokoriiii got away, and oh no, CutestEevee picks up szax in the mid lane.
Nicely done. We haven't really seen too much action, honestly, from as far as kills go from each of the mid lanes, so good to see some signs of life there going on there. CutestEevee going to try to pick that up and bring the pain to the mid lane.
Yeah, and just to touch back, actually, it's going to have to wait. Hokoriiii ganking again, pressure everywhere from Awilix.
I mean, obviously that mobility allowing you to make sure to do that. As you've said before, it's so important when it comes to this big map. A lot of damage coming in, potentially, from that Awilix, as well as the speed. But, meanwhile, it seems like that gank on the right side, not going to be quite too fruitful, as we see everyone's still a decent amount of health. The Grand Slam, once again, damaging, but not quite the clincher for the fight that you really want to see it be at this moment. Hercules going to have to wait for a bit more damage to come online in that build before it's really picking up those kills.
Yeah, and, you know, going forward here, LightTunnel, they don't want me to talk. Anvil of Dawn, will it hit tier? Yes, it will.
Damage dropped on, belly flopped on, gravity surge, 3 members collapsed, the blink in, not going to quite find enough. LightTunnel still going in, though, trying to use the fire pillars to dash on and make some initiation, not going to quite get it. A valiant effort, but not going to be able to avenge their teammate.
That was insane communication there from RoboCop. I mean, something we touched on throughout Scouting Grounds. These teams are randomized, but that coordination, I mean, it comes with skill, sure, but that was so crisp, and Hokoriiii was able to do it so low, as was Haeylo. Beautifully executed.
And it seems like they're doing a good job of responding to what you're saying, noting the fact that that Thor matchup might be a bit awkward and trying to relieve some pressure there. As far as when it comes to what lanes we're looking to place pressure on, if you are the Untouchables jungler, where are you looking toward?
If I'm Untouchables, so far, I know solo lane's under control. I know dual lane was kind of out of control earlier. I'm looking to spread my pressure between mid and duo and see where my opportunities open up and try to get my Discordia as far ahead as I can, because that's going to give me setup on the Shiva.
Absolutely, and as you were saying, that Tiamat definitely potential to do some big damage later in this. But right now, some damage coming in. Grand Slam, once again, nicely done there. Getting some solid damage on there. It's going to force Haeylo to just dip out of this fight. They're not going to be able to stay in without some significant risk themselves. Looks like we're going to be having maybe a little bit of a cheeky gank on the solo lane, though. As, yeah, looking for that buff there. Not going to quite find it. Timer's still down. Nice awareness there to make sure that you could maybe try to sweep up what was left by that solo laner. Meanwhile, on the left side here, another gank going on, diving into the tower line. Is the RoboCop team, but not quite.
LightTunnel's got a good angle here.
Indeed, he's going to be coming in for that line, but not going to quite find it. Oh, the damage is not quite enough. Belly flopped out, going to peel for his team nicely there. With that leap down, might be in a bit of trouble himself. Nope, you're going to be able to get on just fine.
The thing about LightTunnel to watch in these fights on the Shiva is while the damage might not be there, the amount that LightTunnel can tank is going to make up for the damage, because LightTunnel can hang out in these fights astronomically longer than everybody else.
Absolutely, and it seems like they're just wandering around like this jungle's theirs at the moment, just trying to really force out any farm action that our friend here, the Willix, can take. But gonna leap onto
this is an awkward spot.
It is blinked already used though, but Feather Step, a lot of damage brought on. But we know that the members of the Untouchables are aware and they're coming over, but not quite soon enough. BornToMeme dropped, and the support might be next. Gravity Surge, and the Tiamat is also going to be part of the action. Nicely done, Ishtar to pick up the kill. Reblossomed, grateful for that little gank.
That was a really good counter rotation. They knew that Untouchables were being way too aggressive in their jungle, and they took advantage of it without dropping members.
Absolutely, and this gold here going to be looked at. Interesting call there. We do have light tunnels there. You know, of course, this Shiva having been a pretty substantial force here, but honestly, not having seen too much action since that beginning of the game. How are we going to see light tunnel? Are we looking for him to press the aggression a bit further, or are we looking for him to farm up as we see that kind of slope of the momentum kind of stagnate out a little bit?
We do have a bit of a fight here, but this 1v2 is exactly what LightTunnel needs to do. Get that prophetic cloak stacked, and here's the ultimate.
And not going to quite get enough damage on, opting to heal for his team instead, so he continue the fight. Nicely done there, pulling him in and blowing him up. Hokoriiii is going to be taken out, and the Supernova going to do quite a bit of damage there. Ishtar going to be able to get out, but the brilliant Mesmerize used perfectly. But the Pillar, nice blink initiation, but the peel from the team is brilliant as well. Stellar Burst going to drop, though. BornToMeme going to avenge himself onto Reblossomed, and now it's just one drunk man versus one very angry, fiery woman.
Yeah, that does sound like a bar with way too much Jack Daniels. I think you're right in that description. That was a nice play, though, there from Zoats. The on-her support is not traditional. It's kind of looking awkward so far, but Zoats is making it work to the best of his possible ability right now. And honestly, the setup there, I think come late game, that could be effective. The key here is not falling too far behind.
I'm liking the blink is interesting. You know, blink pillar, obviously not the most like traditional. Usually when you think of a blink, you think of someone just burst you down, but the blink pillar could certainly provide some means of preventing escapes, as it did there. Definitely slowing down the enemy team there. So nicely done there, having that awareness and positioning to make sure that they could do something with that relic there. And I agree that the support might not be looking too early on the traditional choice, the easiest route to take, but they're making it work. But looking at the skies here, dropping down the dash, the driving strike will ensure that Tyraumatized is not brought down.
Just to go on to another thing here, you mentioned the blink pillar. I think another big thing that blink is going to allow for Zoats here is you can blink in and not have to initiate with your jump. So you can initiate, be safe from a Wheelix, and set up for your team without instantly being killed.
Absolutely. Preserving those options defensively, potentially, is really important, of course. You want to make sure that you're not expending your resources too easily. A very fair point there. A lot of damage being poured out, but the Tiamat, wow, we're seeing that damage starting to come online. The scale strikes, oof, doing quite a bit to our opponent mid there, but going to be able to get out just fine as a scrapping. Hope here might start to be looked at as we see these members starting to kind of group up around this dual lane area. I wonder who will get the first look at it, but no, it looks like we're just going for damage at the moment.
Corey over the wall, 2-man.
Big damage here with his honor, and LightTunnel gonna pick up the kill. Back in the game, the Shiva's getting the momentum pack that they just needed. He's trying to get some more damage up, but at this point, it's a bit of a lost cause. all the members of the Untouchables healthy, but we have more rotating in. Hold on a second. Might be looking to continue this fight as we siege around this tier 1 tower. Everyone looking nice and grouped. It's pretty early on for these big rotations to be happening, but I'm liking it. Everyone's showing some good coordination, as you might expect for this godlike division.
I like the Pyro call here. Force him into a fight.
Absolutely. Tornado dropped. Not going to quite get too much. Pyro dropped once again. Looks like the real target, though, is the enemy team, in fact. Going to try to get onto the Bacchus as the Pyro's re-picked up, and the Untouchables are actually able to close that out, but not without major detriment to their health. BornToMeme gonna pick up a kill. Have to get out of there if they want a chance of living and be able to succeed in that notion.
Ditch got to get out of there.
He's doing his best, but a pretty tanky amount. But no, that is looking rough. The leap gonna
Oh, in the back! Wow,
Haeylo and
Haeylo!
his Zoats, nice job. Zots gonna be dropped instantly. That burst option right there. The Haeylo going to come in. He's not an angel. He's a devil to these people right here. Going to drop down the Berserker's Barrage. Interrupted nicely by the driving strike, though. And it seems like no further blood might be shed in this fight if they're able to not collapse on him. They're gonna try to do some damage here, but that's a Hercules right there. You're gonna have a hard time picking him down. But they're gonna do their damnedest. Gravity Surge dropped. The stun missed. LightTunnel gonna go in the back line. Digit's been around too long, he says. You're going down.
There's a few things I want to point out from that fight. I'm going to start with the counter rotation by Hercules. It was a bit untraditional, but it was perfectly timed. Thor went back to solo after not being able to find anything mid, and as soon as Hercules saw Thor heading over, he went back towards mid and got to the fight first. Obviously, Haeylo cleaned up the fight with the Anvil of Dawn at the end and cleaned up Zoats, but Tyraumatized, taking that initiative to go over and counter rotating in that way is borderline the entire reason that fight was so one-sided.
Absolutely. No, very fair point that the rotations are going to be coming into play more so as we see these solo lanes come out to play, especially with the, as you mentioned in the very beginning, that rotation potential that Haeylo's got is going to have to be relied on a little bit for the making sure that those team fights swing in the way of RoboCop. But right now, looking to still be a pretty even game here, only a 2,000 gold disparity, and no real objectives being looked at. Pyromancer we saw drop, but not quite come into too big of a play here as far as the disparity between these two teams. Still, for sure, anyone's game.
The biggest problem with the lack of objectives is probably coming from the lack of objective secure. I mean, we're seeing Gold Fury pulled now, but the only thing you have to secure it on Untouchables is Supernova, and you don't want to use it that way.
Absolutely, that's more of God Killer, and see that we might have a God being dropped right now. The Zoner has decided to take tail and run, but a nice Gold Fury drop is going to make the Untouchables very happy, further extending that lead, and unfortunately, the RoboCop just deciding to not really chase that one out, and deciding, you know what, all right, we'll let you guys have that one, an uncontested Gold Fury on the side of the Untouchables.
That's what mitigations do. I talked about it before, but this build that LightTunnel's going, it's odd for a jungle, but you have to consider the positioning. LightTunnel is currently able to walk in between 5 members, take maybe 600 HP of damage within the first 10 seconds and walk away, and he's able to allow his team to do anything that they want.
And in terms of the countering to that, it seems like we do a decent amount of penetration being pulled onto the enemy, the opposing jungler here. But the Ishtar, the build, what are we looking to see come out to counter this massive mitigation build that we have stacking up for the enemy jungler?
We're going to see this Ishtar go as much attack speed, penetration that they can possibly handle, and the Berserkers to stay alive. Digit's stuck on a wall.
Meanwhile, yeah, I'm trying to stay alive himself. Bit of damage there, but like we said, Digit's fat. Digit's got some heft to him, some tank to him, so he's going to be okay right now. He's just going to take another sip from his Estus.
Yeah, the Jack Daniels is pulling through. I think he called it best earlier.
Absolutely. As they're going to be looking to siege as mid-tier 2. Looking to be quite the 5-man. And I'm liking this grouping, as I said before. We're missing someone on the right side here. We still see that Haeylo has not really understood what's going on. The test assignment's not really quite understood. Might just be looking to push down this lane. But at this point in time, I think you need to be with your team, man. They're looking a bit rough.
Yeah, we talked about using that hammer of Dawn to get out of there as quick as possible. Teleport was not gone. Feeds Aegis. And now Digits is dead.
Unfortunate. The support, the front line is going to be already lacking. It's going to be noticeable here as we see the siege. A lot of damage just dropped down. But with a little bit of low teammates here, we have LightTunnel looking a bit worse for wear, and Zoats as well. We see one takes to the sky and drop right back down. Excellent damage. The double tap's good. szax going to be able to pick that up on Zoats. The support has fallen, and the mid lane's next. Unless, Haeylo might be in a bit of risky business here trying to pursue.
They're all so low.
Nice, dropped as well. Reblossomed taking out Haeylo, going to finish it off on CutestEevee. And it seems like we've also had another one, BornToMeme, going to fall as well on the side of the Untouchables. Wow, a lot of people taken out here, but of course going to fall with a 3-man down on the Untouchables. RoboCop looking like to have successfully defended this tier 2.
Yeah, I agree completely.
No!
Oh, and a big pull-in on Tyraumatized. He's definitely going to fall after that.
Team might be in some trouble right there. A lot of damage dropped down. You're going to be receiving a heal, but not enough. Hokoriii's going to pick that up. And that is going to spell a big fight on the resume, on the ledger of the RoboCop. They're happy about that. Look at that health, man. Oh my, yeah, over here, free kill, man. Free kill on him if someone wanted to take him out, dude. He was in trouble.
Yeah.
One shot would have taken him.
I think Haeylo had to Aegis there. I think the Bluestone was ticking, and I'm pretty sure the Thor was below 30 HP, so it's just a risk not worth taking.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to really spin that one. It looked like all the offensive pressure was on them, but as you said, that Anvil of Dawn ended up coming in clutch. Once that up-down was there, it was incredibly impactful in that team fight. That's really what decided it, honestly.
It was. You pointed out that Haeylo wasn't rotating right away, and it was a bit questionable in the moment, but I think the logic there was Thor's been falling behind in farm. You can see it on the gold charts that it wasn't even. It was a lot of that gold lead was Hercules. Take the time, get your farm, then rotate, use the hammer, and it ended up working out perfect.
Certainly can't argue with the results.
Nice ultimate! Wow.
Apple of Discord are going to drop, but he's already drunk, man. He doesn't even care if he's going to do this already. That's already his thing. So he's fine right there.
What an ultimate!
Wow, 2 brought down to a very low amount of health. Zoats is going to be the first to fall. The supports are dueling it out, and Digits will be the victor of that one. Pyromancer's doing low itself, but we're seeing that CutestEevee lurking in the back. Not sure if he wants to join or not, but watching her teammates fall is too much for her to bear. She's going to come right back in, but receive the death on the end of that. It looks like he made the wrong decision there. BornToMeme going to pick up Reblossomed. Digit's going to fall as well. It's an all-out massacre. Double kill for Hokoriiii, but Haeylo will be dropped for LightTunnel as well. It seems that everyone's in full retreat, not quite knowing where their friends are anymore. They've all been reduced to ash.
And LightTunnel is going to get Prophetic stacked really soon, as if LightTunnel could take any less damage.
They're not even done. szax going back in. Tornado dropped on a Tron.
LightTunnel's fine.
LightTunnel's in quite a good spot, though, to maybe do some damage here. You gotta help out your friend. Stop basing the minions, my friend. He's getting lit up.
And there's the on her support.
And it seems that, unfortunately, the rest of RoboCop will be swept up. That is rough. LightTunnel coming up huge there, extending that fight where they could have dropped it, but realizing help was on the way and finishing it up as an Untouchables victory.
Say what you want about the on her support. Those protections there, I'm sure they were shredded to oblivion.
For sure, man. Passive gonna come in clutch there. That was ridiculous.
Between the passive, the Stone of Binding, going that particular executioner upgrade, Zoats is playing for the mental right now.
It's smart to open up that damage for your team, you know, right? On her, obviously, not meant to be up in the front line tanking things out. So, hey, let me instead make sure that I'm making sure my team does the most damage possible. I'm liking that with the big damage we're seeing coming out from Light, from BornToMeme, and even from Eevee as well, even when it was a bit rough that they could get knocked out a bit too soon in that prior fight. When Eevee's going to be up and running fully with that Discord, you're going to be pumping out major damage wise to make sure that everyone on that team is going to be at their fullest and at their brightest.
Yeah, I think CutestEevee's positioning there is really important to note. The ultimate was used really early. Apple of Discord was kind of sent out freely, trying to discourage the Pyromancer. It hit Digits. Digits wisely walked it away, but that left CutestEevee without a lot of damage. So kind of hanging back like that and free casting put a lot of that damage in there that LightTunnel would eventually use about 45 seconds later. So the positioning, while it was rough to look at, the logic was phenomenal.
Absolutely, it made perfect sense to hang on back, and you know, we saw unfortunately what ended up being their downfall was trying to help out that team. You know, I respect the empathy, but sometimes you gotta hang back. Meanwhile, though, Gold Tier being looked after Untouchables, trying to extend that lead, but Fire's on the other side. The battle objectives, it seems like if anything, RoboCop's gonna come out on top. The Untouchables gonna drop the Primal Fury, but RoboCop's gonna drop the Fire Giant, and that's gonna be big. We've seen that trade before, and it's always going to be the Fire Giant you're looking at.
That was a fantastic shot call by RoboCop there. I mean, that's a tough objective to go for out of nowhere in response to gold, but they went for it. And LightTunnel's not afraid of 5 people. Hello?
Like they're afraid of him, in fact. They're actually dipping on out rather than collapsing. That's one man right there. You got to take him out. What are y'all doing?
Oh, LightTunnel just wanted the stack. Prophetic stacked now, baby. It's over.
Yeah, he's ready for action. He's literally just dumping. Dude, he's running at them all. This team is way too far away.
They can't kill LightTunnel.
If they collapsed on him, like, it would be just him for at least like 5 more seconds. But they're opting to. They see that build. They're saying, we're good.
Yeah, there's no killing the Shiva right now. It's borderline impossible. It would take all 5 members, and it would take no allies around for LightTunnel.
They're gonna have to try their best nonetheless because he's pushing that advantage. He knows that too, man. He understands his unkillable status. Gravity Surge gonna bring back the actual other members supposed to be tanky too. But it seems like Tyraumatized not quite going to let that stop him.
Why split push in the mid lane too?
Big damage coming in here with the Oscar ult. And Stellar Burst gonna do something itself, but no, not quite enough. Zoats gonna get his own kill. On the Hokoriiii. Some big grouping there with the Shiva pulling. He's gonna try to amble Dawn out, but not enough. That damage is gonna be too much from LightTunnel. LightTunnel gonna drop that on. We're looking to push into this Phoenix here. The push is not stopping. The heal's gonna come out there from that Shiva ult. Nicely done there, trying to bring that team up back to a bit of a substantial amount so they can continue this push. But
Ishtar got tier 2 in that fight, which is at least decent for RoboCop. Keeps them in the fight.
It's unfortunate to see whenever the Fire Giant team is on the receiving end of the siege, you know? Not really what you're seeing, but like you said, man, Shiva having that confidence there, LightTunnel knowing, hey, man, I am a beast right now. 10-0. That is insane. The majority of the kills brought down on the side of the Shiva.
I was trying to point it out early, and it ended up really being the issue. This Shiva is just a monster among men.
Yeah, and like, just not enough done about it early, unfortunately. You're just gonna have to really drop down to the other damage dealers. As you said, you can't kill him. Maybe just try to go from the Discordia. And they've been doing a decent job of that, trying to shut down that factor in it, but it's gonna be rough, man. Especially if like you're on Fire Giant and you're playing like you're the team that's on the receiving end of them getting the Fire Giant buff. That's never a good sign.
For RoboCop right now, I mean, obviously, scoreboard, it doesn't look that bad. I think their problem right now is they don't have an answer for Shiva. Ishtar's build's coming online. Dominance was just picked up, has the Chins online, has the Aussie, but I don't think it matters. I mean, you'd have to leave Reblossomed alone with Shiva, and Shiva not cast abilities to maybe get LightTunnel half health. Big blink from Hokoriiii.
A lot of damage coming in. Gravity Surge, beautifully done. I'm
Goodbye,
loving the Gravity
BornToMeme.
Surge from Hokoriiii. I am loving the Gravity Surge. I'm seeing they're frequent and they're on great targets.
Here's the 1v1.
Let's see if this happens, man. I mean, dude, do you see how much damage he's taking? He's pumped like 7 spread shots into you. What is going on?
Mitigations.
Oh my god, that is, dude. Like, he could disconnect his controller, I think, walk away from the screen, come back 30 seconds later, and still not be at quarter health.
Not possible.
Big damage coming on the left side here. Big damage coming on the tier 2 side. Big baseball, though, looking to pop up into the sky, maybe bring some hurt down on them. The Apple of Chaos and Discord is going to actually not kill quite. Nicely done to sit from that Estus. That Jack Daniel's going to provide that. But it seems that szax might be in a bit of trouble. Going to leap out of harm's way. The Honor support, though, can do some damage of his own. We know that those pillars and those impales are no joke. Quite a bit of damage still being poured on. Going to try to just retreat on out. Is RoboCop, as they tried to make that engagement work, not going to quite get it much off of it.
By the way, while that fight was happening, LightTunnel 1v1 Reblossomed got down to half health, and Reblossomed gave up and walked away.
That's just gotta be, like, this is so demoralizing. Like, it legitimately can be like a mental issue where, like, you want to make sure you're feeling confident, but say Hokoriiii might be feeling confident. Another kill picked up. Excellent job there on the Zoats. That support's gonna be falling to the wayside there, and meanwhile, that support taking some risky business. They're leaping, but leaving, unfortunately, their mid's now alone with LightTunnel, the one man you don't want anyone to be left alone with. Whacking him down with that stick of justice. Gonna come back in, realizing that what happened, but Digit's a bit too late, and now Reblossomed doesn't want to face the 1v3. They couldn't handle the 1v1. But LightTunnel is gonna make sure it happens. The apple dropped down, the egg is put up. Not gonna be enough. The discordant magic is gonna do quite a bit. Evie doesn't even need to be here for this, man. You can just watch from the back line, but gonna still participate, kind of them. CutestEevee gonna pick up that kill on Reblossomed.
BornToMeme during that fight was able to take on Hokoriiii on the Wheelix 1v1. Aegis right after the Feather Step, timed it perfectly, survived it, used Stellar Burst, and blew up the Wheelix. It was such a well-played 1v1. That's so tough for any character. And Dissavorate was down, Supernova was down. So well played from BornToMeme.
Look at how little damage this Phoenix and also Haeylo are doing. This is insane.
It's absurd. Mitigations are out of control right now in Smite.
So, as the RoboCop, what do you do here when it comes to those team fights? Who do you target? How do you try to come back?
Anyone who is not LightTunnel.
That's a good idea.
You have to kill everybody else. Do your best to survive the damage from LightTunnel, which thankfully, while Shiva's damage is good, only having 1 to 2.5 real damage items, you can at least try to get around it, kill everybody else. But now with Fire Giant 2, it's an even tougher
Oh
task.
my
You just
god,
got to
that
avoid light
proposition
tunnels.
is ridiculous, bro. I'm putting down the controller. I'm putting down my keyboard.
Reblossomed's got to get a quadra kill, and then everybody needs to full all in light tunnel, and that's how you win the game. Otherwise, this is an uphill battle.
Pyromancer drop down too, making sure no objective is left unharmed. Nicely done there on top of the Untouchables. Going to make sure to pick up any gold they can on the map and make sure their team, the opposing team, not able to get any of their own. They're just waiting in the mid lane for the inevitable push, waiting for the light tunnel to herald the banner that spells their doom. This is looking to be quite a rough uphill battle for RoboCop.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, and now Onher is actually starting to be tankier, so Onher matters more, which is really difficult on top of that. This is a really tough fight for RoboCop. I honestly think, like I said, the best course of action is you got to try to not die to light tunnel, avoid light tunnel, try to kill everybody else in the defense, because light tunnel can tank everything, but almost no character can survive a full 1v5 for an indefinite amount of time. So the key here is to get rid of the lesser members in terms of survivability, then turn your focus. But the number one key to do that, you have to keep Reblossomed alive, because I don't think anyone else can kill Light Tunnel.
Absolutely, and we've just seen over these past 30 seconds just complete turtling. We're just deciding to really stay in base, and honestly, I do think that while that is wise to overall play the defensive, could be spelling a bit to the mental game that's been playing here, where just one look at Light Tunnel in the mid lane, like walking towards them, they all were just sequestered in the mid lane. And you can see here, but wait, a lot of damage being poured on him. Hold on. No, never mind. I'm a liar. What am I talking about? He's half health. That was like 5 people focusing on him. But in the left lane, different story here. Maybe some damage being put on Zoats here, but not quite enough. Hold on. No, Light Tunnel has quenched the one hope they had in Reblossomed. That is so sad. And it looks like they know it. RoboCop just fleeing. Get out of there right now. I'm trying to defend this left lane Phoenix with all those strength and emotion, but Light is here, and Light is trying to write down their names in the death note right now. He's diving in further. He does not care. The rest of the team though needs the support though. Otherwise, he could be in a little bit of trouble. Not gonna lie. No, what am I talking about? He's fine. Look at him, dude. He's just chilling. He's at 4 health right now. Don't even do any damage in that belt. Absolutely negligible. They're too afraid to push this advantage on him. They're just scared of him, man. They're terrified. They're horrified. They're petrified. Oh my god, Light's a different beast. Man.
RoboCop's been playing fantastic. This has nothing to do with how they've played this game. If Light Tunnel wasn't in this game, RoboCop might be winning. It's just an impossible fight right now.
Look at him, he's going right back in. Look how much health he's got. He's regaining so much.
What a pull!
Just speak from the Fire Giant, but nicely done there. szax gonna combine with a brilliant pull, gonna take on Zoats. Meanwhile, on the back line, Anvil and Dom gonna try to drop some damage on, while meanwhile Light's not able to pay attention, but he's back. He's gonna pick up that kill. Hokoriiii gonna pick up BornToMeme, but you still have the big threat on the field at literally full health. You can't escape szax. You're in a lot of trouble right now. Jin's gonna get CutestEevee, but what does it matter when this man is alive?
Oh, they can't split. They can't split.
Mid lane. A lot of damage being dropped. The ult gonna dance on them real quick. Gonna pick up szax. Big damage there. And gonna try to pick up the jungle too. Oh, he's able to right into the clutches of the fountain. That's gotta feel bad for Hokoriiii. And look at him. He's just waltzing around. He does not care. He knows that what dregs of the team are left can't do much unless Reblossomed is able to lock him down.
The speed buff decided to join on the Titan siege.
He's helping out. He said, you guys need this.
This is the only person who can do damage to the light tunnel, but Reblossomed needs help.
Dude, what damage? What are you talking about? He's dashing back in, but that's not going to do anything. The unfortunate miss of the belly flop, not going to be able to lock him down. He's just going to... I'm genuinely befuddled as to, like...
Yeah, it's really tough here. And Digits going Stone of Binding here was really smart. We do see a lot of penetration as well on a Wheelix. There's another Stone of Binding on Thor. They're doing everything right. It's genuinely just a difference of the build that Light Tunnel has gone with how ahead Light Tunnel got early. The relics are upgraded. I wouldn't be surprised to see Light Tunnel when they can get their 3K pot. There is a chance that we're going to see there it is. There's the defense 3K pot, and that's gonna put Light Tunnel at the defense cap and the protections cap, and it's just gonna be it's impossible. And RoboCop has played this game as well as you can under these circumstances.
No, they really have. They're doing their darndest to try to lock him in. And they were literally trying to run away from him during that team fight because they knew. They understood what we all understand, which is that he cannot be killed and we need to focus our attention elsewhere. But it's not like Shiva's an immobile god. Shiva can chase you down. They got the double dash on lock. Tiamat's not going to be able to outrun that. So it just, what do you do? What do you do when that man's approaching you?
It's tough.
It's
The scenario here needs to be RoboCop has to play this well enough to keep their Titan healthy and let LightTunnel make a mistake and somehow take too much damage. We'll see if they can do it.
And him FC the leap in, not going to do any damage, to be a sort of a bit of disruption. This right-hand Phoenix going to be looking to be the point of contestant. But it seems like there's going to be often move down that Michelin light tunnel saying, I've got this. Hokoriiii can actually pick up BornToMeme.
That's a good start.
No small thing. But the team out looking to be in trouble. Nice speed there to make sure to get out of that.
Huge ult.
It's going to be dropped. And Light is still going to be a good help, but meanwhile, CutestEevee in the back line looking to be quite a bit of trouble. But no small feats is Hokoriiii mean that he's going to be okay as well. He's going to be dropped too, where Reblossomed takes out Tyraumatized. CutestEevee dropped as well. This could be good right
Kill
here.
Zoats, kill Zoats.
Killer is being dropped. A lot of slows, but meanwhile, Tiamat, oh no! That is going to be dropped as well by LightTunnel, of course. Holden is looking like this might be turned on its head. Meanwhile, Dot looking in the back, but the double tap attempt is going to be good. Going to drive him off a little bit. LightTunnel left to forge on his own against these three, but that's nothing. That's no stranger to him. He's fine with that. He's going to be knocking it up.
Perfect. Turn on the on her.
Spin in Haeylo gonna drop that zone. It is the battle we've been waiting for. 3v1. But he's gonna be able to get on after. Fine, look at him. He doesn't even care. He's still got plenty of help to spare.
They got it back now.
Sparing some more time. They're gonna be just fine at this point. It does not seem like LightTunnel's in any danger at all.
They have to back now too, because Fire Minion's already killed a Phoenix.
Oh my god, it's upsetting. It's upsetting to watch, dang it. It's upsetting, Anthony.
They played that perfect. They killed everybody but LightTunnel, and it's crazy, but that's exactly how they stay in this game. It doesn't feel like a victory because they couldn't kill LightTunnel. They couldn't make any meaningful progress outside of their fountain, but they survived. They're getting gold online, and we've seen they can kill everybody but LightTunnel. And LightTunnel, as long as there's 2 to 3 members alive, cannot end the game because LightTunnel doesn't have the damage. A 3k pot for damage is online now too. That's both 3k pots. There is damage there, but you still can't solo kill a full health Titan. So if RoboCop can repeat this process again, there's a chance.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think that the mental game, we all know, is a very important part of this game just as much as your gameplay is. And the mental's got to feel terrible when you do a great job at dealing with the base defense. Like you said, they played that picture perfect. That was good. They got a lot of kills on board. They pushed off the offensive team. But it's got to feel bad when you still see one guy just traipsing through, not a care in the world, whistling a tune, and still managing to get out with half his health.
Yeah. I hope to see them repeat the process. They've got it down. They figured it out. You got to kill. You can kill everyone else. Focus on it. Avoid LightTunnel. You can't end the game. Get Reblossomed in there and let Reblossomed go to work.
Absolutely, and looks like we're looking to see some work from the mid lane. Phoenix trying to defend that up. Light going to lead the charge as per usual. Fire Minion's coming on the left side. It's going to direct some attention away as Haeylo's got to clear those up, but never mind, it's coming right back in. Some good damage dropped on a Tyraumatized, looping around the back. Phoenix is still up, and we're pushing it out of that. Not sure about that one, because
oh no, Fire Minions too.
Drop damage. CutestEevee going to drop a core, and then we also see szax going to be taking out a lot of the damage on the RoboCop team. And you're not going to have quite enough there, Bacchus. You're going to be going right back to the fountain. Reblossomed is looking to be quite a bit of trouble. CutestEevee going to get dropped, but that's still got Light chasing after to ensure that his teammate does not fall in vain. Speed's going to go down, but so is Reblossomed. One member left standing. It is looking dire, and by dire, I mean nearly impossible. How are you going to kill 4 members of the team when one of them is Light going into the fountain? Only they may kill him, they say. Only you may claim my life, but not even. Light going to actually be unkillable this entire game, and that is going to be a drop for the Untouchables. He's literally untouchable.
Yeah, that was really frustrating to watch and to play, I'm sure. And it's not to take anything away from LightTunnel's performance. I know I made a big point of saying that was the mitigations build. You still got to pilot that build, and LightTunnel played that game to quite literal perfection. 18-0 in Godlike division is absolutely asinine. 53k player damage, and not a single ward placed because you don't need a ward if you can 1v5. You know where everybody is. But LightTunnel can't be the focus here in this scenario because what impresses me the most is everyone played well. Reblossomed in that last fight, it's so easy to overlook it because, RoboCop lost. But Reblossomed went off on Ishtar, almost managed to do enough damage to keep their team in the game. Haeylo had to back to defend fire minions. There was no option to 2v5, and it almost happened. Digits, Szax, Haeylo, Hokoriiii, and Reblossomed nearly played perfect defense. They were just simply outmatched by the current state of mitigations.
Yeah, I want to throw some love to Hokoriiii. Hokoriii's ults that entire game were so consistently good. The target selection was awesome. Had the setup from the team, so the synergy was there too. And they were doing a great job at when someone was selected, they blew them up. They blew up that spot. So that was great. I was loving to see that target selection. Definitely credit, of course, goes to LightTunnel for that disgusting build that was managing this dumpster. But also, of course, yeah, much love to RoboCop for doing their darndest to try to make sure that game was not an was not easily won by the other opposing side. But yeah.
145k mitigations, by the way. But just really quick to also talk about Untouchables besides LightTunnel, BornToMeme really impressed me on ADC. BornToMeme played a lot of support last season. We didn't get to see anything like ADC, and it was there. The 1v1 against Hokoriiii stuck out. CutestEevee, the positioning was fantastic. The constant map awareness for the positioning doesn't necessarily show in 6 deaths, but there was a lot of fighting this game. It was always on point, and the ultimate always was used for the most part to perfection. Tyraumatized controlled lane so well, and because of the lane control, Haeylo couldn't rotate out, couldn't put any pressure on mid, and Zoats on her support. What can I say? But on her support, it technically worked this game, and Zoats is probably going to brag about it for the next month.
Off to a rough start there, but like we said, managing really to take the role of initiating for everyone else and making sure they could deal their damage as well. Shredding those protections and ensuring that LightTunnel was able to walk through without too much of an area of a care in the world. 145,000 damage mitigated. What more need we say? We can just put that number on the field on the board for the entire video, and that would about spell the same idea. But that was definitely interesting game here played, and a really brilliantly talented game played here in this godlike division by both teams. Draft coming up within the week, so everyone please keep a note to the Discord for future announcements on high from us regarding that. But with that being said, my name's Dilo. I'm joined here by Anthony Malum. Thank you all for joining us for this wonderfully destructive game here of this Might Draft League Scouting Grounds Godlike Division. We'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one, everyone.